Hi, I want to introduce you to Blizzard's newest addition to the StormChaser line of products. Let's go ahead and get started opening the StormChaser Supercell. So, first thing we're going to find is that we have a couple accessories. The first is this blackout lens for the StormChaser. And then we also have, well, it looks like a blue lens. This is actually clear. It's just covered in protective plastic. There's a clear lens. And then a power cord. There is also a quick start guide in there that no one's ever going to read. And here's the fixture itself, all wrapped up. We'll pull it out. It's off here. As you can see, this is a 1 meter long bar. And how long is a meter? Well, it's this long. So this is the StormChaser Supercell. You can see here on the back, starting with our power input and output, we have PowerCon in and PowerCon out. The DMX is 3-pin in and out. There is a USB port, which we'll talk about a bit more later. And then we have a LED display with the standard controls. It's a very lightweight fixture. You can hang a lot of these on a truss without having to worry about weight. And also, there's a little bag of accessories that has some feet that attach to the side and some handles. All right, now that we've got everything out of the box, let's take a better look at these lenses. So we've got the frosted white, clear, and the blackout. Now, let's go over how to change out these lenses. Where do you start off? I'm going to suggest don't use a hammer to get into these things. They're plastic, they're very delicate. Use a hand screwdriver. Don't use an impact gun or anything like that. Just come at it with the screwdriver. There's 4 screws here on the end. You just undo these screws. Now set the cap somewhere and the screws, keep it somewhere safe where you're not going to lose them. Now, gently pull and slide out your lens. Set your lens aside. Now here you can see on the inside where all of the 224 individual LEDs are arranged. Now with the white lens, you can't see these, but with the blackout lens, which we'll slide in right now, I'm leaving this protective cover on it for now. It won't have too much of an effect on how we show it to you. You'll have to push down on this side and just slide it in. Then you can put the cover back on. Right now I'll leave it off. And now we'll apply some power and you can see the difference. Because when it is off you see nothing. And then when we apply some power, this gives you a completely different look. And here's where you can see the individual cells of Supercell. So going across the top, you have 8 cells of 8x2 and then the same thing on the bottom. So there's 16 individually controllable cells inside the Supercell. The thing about the blackout is that it's almost like a set of sunglasses for your light. It's going to cut down a lot of the output, but it also allows you to directly shine it into people's eyes without it being bothersome or anything like that. It'll also hide into architectural installs and just vanish with the scenery, so until you want it to pop out. So that's the benefit of the blackout lens. And then your clear lens, you'll see here, you get a lot more brightness and all that pixely goodness inside. Now we'll go back to the white lens. And now we have that seamless neon look. Slide that back in. We'll put the cap back in and we'll be all set. So I've got a couple of these set up in the showroom and we'll be able to demo them. So come with me and we'll go take a look. Okay, let's first talk about sound active mode, which is the easiest way to use the Supercell right out of the box. No console or DMX required. The first thing you can do with sound active mode is you can set each and every one of your fixtures all up to sound active mode and play some music, and they're going to do their own thing. They're not going to be synced in any way, shape, or form really, but they will all react with music. That's the first way. Now the second way you can use sound active mode is in master and slave mode. And it's not as sinister as you would think. Basically, you take the first fixture and you set it up to be the master, and then you pick a sound active program from it. Then you link it up with DMX from fixture to fixture and give them all power. They're not going to work without power. And once that's all set and they're all on the same address, so these are all address 1, and they're everything but the master is in DMX 512 mode. Now you can see they're all synced up and doing the same thing because this first unit, the master, is telling all the rest of them what to do. Now you're going to play some music and you're going to see that all of your fixtures are all synced up together. So you can pick from different patterns, play the music, and it all syncs up, and you have a pretty cool light show right out of the box. Now, the next way you can use these is through DMX. And for us, we have done something special with these fixtures. We have actually added a USB port on these things, which give you power. And what's this USB power for? Well, we have something called the SoC-It, which is a wireless DMX transmitter and receiver, and it works with your phone. And when you plug the SoC-It into the light, now you can control it wirelessly straight from your phone. Now what I'm going to show you works exactly the same way as if you were to do it from a console, but this is going to use our app. So I'll show you the app, and I will show you the SoC-It. And give me a minute, because what I'm going to do is change all of this over from sound active mode into regular mode. Okay, so all I had to do was change this first one into DMX mode, and now all of these are all running off of DMX. Now they are all the same address, so whatever I tell these to do via DMX, they're all going to do the same thing. If I want them to be controlled separately, I would address them, and since these are in 7-channel mode, it would be address 1, address 8, and then so on. Before we go to at full, we're going to plug in the SoC-It. Here's our SoC-It, tiny little device. I've already pre-configured this to be synced up to our Wi-Fi network, so I have a green LED indicator telling me that it is connected. And then I'm going to grab this USB cable, plug it into the back of the SoC-It, just like any other USB port. Now, this is where that USB port on the light comes in handy. That's going to power this. So even though this has a rechargeable battery that will run for about 8 hours, this is going to keep it fully charged, and then this can be standalone. You could leave your SoC-It in there, and it's going to be standalone, and whenever you need it, it's going to be ready to go from your phone. So SoC-It goes into the DMX port. This plugs into USB, and now we're all set. Now, we'll grab our app. Okay, so now I've opened up to the front page here, you can see, of at full. And I am going to go ahead and go into patch. And we're going to patch just one single supercell because they are all addressed the same. So I only have to control one fixture and they'll all do the same thing. So I'm just going to hit this plus sign in the bottom. And I'm going to call this the Supercell demo and create. No fixtures configured yet. Hit the plus to get started. I'm going to go ahead and hit plus. So I am going to search for the Supercell because I know it is in there. There it is, Supercell by Blizzard Lighting. Go ahead and hit plus. Now, I have Supercell Unique ID 1. Unique ID is whatever channel you want to call it. That's your own number. You can call it whatever you want. And then I'm going to link it to a network device. Now, if you have a bunch of ArtNet fixtures, you can broadcast, but the most error-free way to do this is to just send it directly to your SoC-It. So here we have a couple different devices, but this one is SoC-It 2. Smoke Shack, I believe, belongs to our service department. And give it a starting address, DMX address. This is 1. Apply, DMX Universe. I know that SoC-It is configured for Universe 0, which you can change, and now we'll hit patch. And right out of patch, we can hit this play button, And you'll see we have our familiar dimmers right here. So I will go ahead and bring up our master dimmer first. I'm at 255, and now I'll just roll up red. And now I have control over the red, the green, and then I have the blue. And then I also have, under this functions here, which is all different patterns that you can play. And there's a running speed here as well, where you can change and adjust the speed. Now, if we bring it all up in white, we also have a strobe function right here. So we can roll up our strobe. And now we can strobe and change color and all sorts of things right here. So that is basically how you would do this from a console. And that's the basics of 7-channel mode. Now, Supercell also has a 20-channel mode, and in the 20-channel mode, you basically have control over your dimmer and your strobe, and then the next 16 channels after that are control of each frame inside the Supercell. So, and the way we've done this is that each channel has all of the popular colors in it, so like teal, magenta, yellow, and you can pick each frame to be a different color. So channel 3, you could go red, blue, green, all the colors, and then so on and so forth throughout the Supercell. That's your 20-channel mode. Now, for those who like pixel mapping, you can set it up in 52-channel mode. Now here's a video that we shot earlier today that shows you all of our Supercells running off of pixel mapping mode. You can see here in the corner that this is where the video, the source video is, and you can see that that video is being mapped onto the Supercells. So just by changing the video content in our media server, we're able to change what they're doing, and it maps across them. So the more Supercells you have, the higher resolution your video is going to look. Now, before I go, I want to show you one more cool thing about the Supercell that I just figured out this morning, and I think you'll think it's pretty cool too. What I found was this: with our weather system EXA, I am actually able to flip one of these feet around, and then if I go out to the hardware store and I buy some bolts, I'm actually able to bolt this right up to the top and add some instrumentation to our weather system here. There's actually some bolt holes at top as well, so you could add some more instrumentation, but just to throw this on there, we can just use the DMX through on the back, attach it here, take our power, plug that right in here, and then this is all being wirelessly controlled with the socket from the back, so we'd be able to attach this right on there and then run some effects on top of our weather system, which I think would be pretty darn cool. So hopefully this helps get your creative juices flowing and gets you thinking about what you're going to do when you get your Supercell.